Up next on Connections, the CTA meets the challenge of a struggling economy. President Richard Rodriguez proposes a 2011 budget that maintains current fares and service levels. That story, plus the latest improvement to Bus Tracker. And the CTA begins in-service testing of security cameras on its current fleet of rail cars. And we're number one when it comes to hassle-free transportation to and from Chicago sporting events. All coming up next on Connections. Hello, I'm Omar Barragan. Welcome to Connections. The economic downturn continues to pose many challenges to public transit agencies across the country, and the CTA is no exception. Planning for 2011, the CTA continues to focus on management efficiencies and streamlined operations to help further reduce costs and spare any impact to riders.
The budget that I am proposing to the board is $1.337 billion. Although we are operating in a very tough economic environment, through cost-conscious management, we've developed a budget that allows us to maintain current fares and service levels.
For 2011, the CTA proposes keeping service and fares at their current levels. Although the state is experiencing its own financial struggles, the CTA is relying on it to meet its commitments to the CTA, both for the public funds that make up a large share of operating revenue and the promised capital program.
Through a careful review of departmental budgets, we identified $53.6 million in savings. These include cutbacks in our personnel costs by eliminating positions, delaying hiring, continuing to manage and control overtime, once more foregoing wage increases for non-union personnel, and requiring them to take unpaid days.
Here's a breakdown of the savings. Hiring control, $13.7 million. Furlough and unpaid holidays, $9.7 million. Fuel hedging, $9.4 million. Power hedging, $8.1 million. Position elimination, $7.2 million. And overtime reduction, $5.5 million. Despite those efficiencies, the 2011 budget is $66.7 million more than the 2010 budget. That is due in large part to union wage increases.
70% of the $1.337 billion is purely labor. It's paying for salaries and benefits and such. 90% of our workforce is unionized as well. So again, a lot of the benefits that they receive are not things that I can change up until we have an opportunity to renegotiate our contract, which will be in 2012.
The higher labor costs come at a time when public funding continues to underperform. The red line indicates projection. The blue bars indicate actual funding. Public funding in 2011 is $92.5 million less than in 2008 and almost $258 million less than projected in 2008 and 2009.
To make up the difference between what we have and what we need, we will again have to transfer $113 million in eligible capital funds to help balance the budget and allow us to maintain service levels while the economy continues to recover.
The 2011 budget calls for a capital improvement plan of $599.5 million. That money is needed to overhaul buses, update garages and rail stations, and replace track to eliminate slow zones. That's just basic maintenance.
Despite limited resources, we also want to continue to focus attention on areas where strategic investments will lay the foundation for future improvements and customer benefits.
This is a Brown Line train to Kimball.
Despite the economic challenges in recent years, the CTA completed a major $530 million renovation of the Brown Line, added additional hybrid buses to the fleet, and launched a major expansion of the security camera network to enhance safety and security. In 2011, the CTA will move ahead with the first order of new rail cars in more than 15 years, testing to retrofit older rail cars with cameras, and enhancements to the bus tracker system and testing for train tracker. The CTA is also looking for partners to develop a new fare card system without an upfront capital cost.
You should be able to use your ATM card or your credit card to ride our system. And for those that are unbanked, we would then have a single card that you can reload and not just necessarily use it on our system, but you could use it as a gift card. You can go and purchase groceries or purchase gas, whatever it is that you need to do.
The economy is weak and the budget is tight, but the CTA will continue to make progress while making ends meet. That's because the 2011 budget is about more than money. It's about innovation, teamwork, and sacrifice.
A huge part of the sacrifice is having to require our non-union employees to take furlough days. It's a lot when you're already asking them to work 50, 60 hours a week. So we're streamlining the organization. We've become very lean, we're very, very efficient, and we're doing the best that we can, again, with very few resources.
As the budget process evolves, you can get all the latest updates at the CTA website at www.transitchicago.com. CTA customers value their time. And since CTA values its customers, it is doing whatever it can to take the guesswork out of bus arrivals. Bus tracker texting information is now available at every CTA bus stop, every single one.
Yeah, I use it every day for the Fullerton bus, and it's always accurate, always on time.
I can plan just so I won't be late for classes or wherever I'm going.
It actually does help a lot, due to the cold, due to, traffic and stuff like that, it does help.
Just makes it so that I'm not late for work.
The CTA knows its customers love Bus Tracker. It also knows not everyone has a smartphone to access the internet-based tracking system. That's why there's Bus Tracker texting.
The market wanted more, and the customers wanted more with other devices on the market like cell phones, so we moved into the texting environment.
So if you don't have access to a computer or you don't have a phone that has internet access, but you have the ability to text, this gives you the opportunity to also receive bus tracker information, and so you're not left out.
Every CTA bus stop sign now has the identification code needed to get a bus arrival text.
Yep, every single bus stop.
A pilot program was tested at 42 locations in early 2010. Based on usage and customer feedback, the program expanded to all bus stops on the system.
That particular application has exploded in the last couple of months.
In the month of July, before we started the installation of all the bus stop ID stickers, we were averaging about 10,000 texts, two-way texts on a given day. And for the month of September, we were averaging about 24,000.
Here's how to use Bus Tracker texting. Text the message CTA bus, one word, then add a space, then type in the route ID number on the bus stop sign. Send the text to 41411. In just a few seconds, you'll get a text back.
We quickly send you back a response with the top 3 next arriving buses.
We used a BlackBerry with a bright screen for demonstration purposes, but any phone with texting capability will work.
Older cell phones, newer cell phones, smartphones, and whatever else might be coming down the line.
Best of all, the CTA doesn't charge for the service.
There is no cost to using the text messaging feature of Bus Tracker, only your usual text messaging service charges that you might pay in your plan.
For even more convenience, customers can sign up to have Bus Tracker texts sent to them at a designated time each day. Say you always end your workday at 5 o'clock. You can get a text at 5:01 every day with your estimated bus arrival times.
You send our application the information, bus stop that you're looking to get the information for, the time that you'd like to deal with, either one particular time or multiples, and at that particular designated time point, you will get the information you need.
How great is that? Really great, according to the growing legions of Bus Tracker fans who use the technology every day.
We all rely on the bus to get around because having a car is too expensive in the city, so having Bus Tracker and having the text messaging available is great.
There are nearly 12,000 CTA bus stop locations in the service area. Chicago Public High School students are learning a valuable lesson in time management and CTA convenience. Bus tracker screens are now in some schools to cut down the time students wait outside for buses.
It'll tell them the bus is 2 minutes away, and it'll say the bus is approaching. So they walk right outside and get on the bus.
Harlan Community Academy High School on Chicago's far south side is one of several schools taking advantage of the CTA's Bus Tracker program. Bus Tracker information is displayed on a monitor near the school's main entrance.
You can tell your parents, like, I'm 5 minutes from home, or I'm 10 minutes before the bus gets here, so you can be looking out for me to open the door.
It also helps kids feel a little safer and better about being in after-school programs.
Students who stay late after school don't have to worry about waiting alone at a bus stop.
I like Bus Tracker because I'm in a nursing program, and when it's time for me to leave, I don't have to go right outside in the cold. I could wait for the bus to see when it's coming or not.
Students can also avoid the after-school crush of kids waiting at bus stops once the last bell rings.
The Bus Tracker, it really helps when you don't want to be outside and miss the trouble also, because after school, it's a lot of stuff going on.
The less we can have kids just standing around, the better it is for all of us.
School officials estimate 30% of Harlan students use the CTA to get to and from school. They were surprised how many students are familiar with Bus Tracker.
They know more about this than you actually think. We didn't have any special meeting to say what this is. They actually stop, look, and pay attention to what's on there.
You can look it up from your phone, and it tells you the exact same thing, but some people don't have the cellular devices to use, so it's good for the school.
And it's easy to set up. All that's needed is a dedicated computer and an internet connection.
It didn't cost us anything. It's something that CTA, along with Mayor Daley, we're trying out to help schools to be as safe as they possibly can.
Anyone with computer know-how can set up a Bus Tracker display for personal or business use. It's all free, and all the information you need is on the CTA's Do-It-Yourself Bus Tracker webpage. Security cameras help deter crime and assist authorities in investigations. A program to retrofit older CTA rail cars with security cameras is currently in the testing phase. The CTA has an extensive network of security cameras. All CTA buses have cameras. There's at least one camera at every CTA rail station. And the new 5000 railcar series undergoing in-service testing will come equipped with security cameras. Only the current fleet of railcars doesn't have cameras, but that's changing.
We're working on a pilot project to retrofit our existing fleet with cameras. And with support from a Department of Homeland Security grant, we have funding to get that project started.
Here's the first car retrofitted with cameras for the testing phase. It's an orange line car, and there are 2 cameras at each end. It may not look technologically complicated, but it is. The cameras have to hook into the car's sophisticated electronic system powered by the third rail.
And also, our rail cars are subjected to all kinds of weather. Extreme heat in the summer, extreme cold in the winter, especially when they're in the rail yards and waiting for service. So the idea here is to test the systems to see which works best in our environment.
The initial test phase will involve up to 30 cars. Each camera provides a 360-degree view, so there's no part of a rail car that's not covered.
It also has the capability of, when you're reviewing footage, to review at all those different angles. We're very interested in that technology.
Images are stored on a digital video recorder for later review if necessary. Distracted customers may not see a thief, but the camera never blinks.
So for example, in safety situations, we can go back and take a look at exactly what occurred. In the case of a theft on the system, we've found that they've been very effective and in working with the police department, helping us identify individuals and really deterring future crime.
Deterring crime is the goal, and adding cameras to the rail cars enhances those efforts.
The CTA is a very safe and secure system, but this is just another layer of security and safety that gives us another tool to work through any issues or problems that customers might be having.
There are currently 1 or more high-definition security cameras at every CTA rail station. Thinking about heading to a Bears home game this season? Here's the game plan. Let the CTA run interference around Soldier Field traffic and take a pass on paying big money for parking. The 128 Soldier Field Express. Bears fans board in front of Union Station and the Ogilvy Transportation Center. The next stop, Soldier Field.
The 128 is put specially for the Bears game, and that operates 2 hours before the game and 1 hour after the game.
The Soldier Field Express drops off fans right outside the stadium, and it picks them up post-game at another stop just a few feet away.
There's a lot of traffic, and CTA is the fastest and best way to do it because it drops you off door to door.
The CTA uses only its articulated buses on the 128 route to move the most people possible in the least amount of time. It's the same with the 146 Inner Drive Michigan Express bus, which is another option for game day.
You can board on Michigan between Water Tower and South Water, and then on State Street from South Water to Roosevelt, and then on to Soldier Field.
The 146 makes a stop here at the Roosevelt Elevated Station to collect customers traveling to Soldier Field from the red, orange, and green lines, a third option for Bears fans. Or many fans just choose to walk the short distance from station to stadium. The Roosevelt Station stop and the 146 bus are year-round options for visitors to the museum campus, just across from Soldier Field. The Field Museum, the Adler Planetarium, and the Shedd Aquarium are premier attractions in Chicago. Hometown travelers and out-of-town tourists are well served by the 146.
There is a stop at each of the main cultural institutions that operate 7 days a week, and you can come and enjoy the cultural institutions here at City of Chicago.
And don't forget CTA's service to United Center for Chicago Bulls and Blackhawks games. Make that world champion Blackhawks games.
Go Hawks!
The number 20 Madison bus is always an option, and it drops fans right outside the United Center. But the number 19 is the United Center Express, expressly for sports fans. The number 19 leaves every 12 to 15 minutes from Michigan and Randolph, starting 90 minutes before tip-off or face-off.
It's a great way to go. It's the fastest mode for me from work. I work downtown. It's the easiest way to head there. I get to have a few drinks, all those things at the game, head back home, enjoy myself, and enjoy the Hawks.
After the game, number 19 buses pick up sports fans in front of the United Center and take them back downtown. Express service runs about every 15 minutes for 1 hour following the game. The CTA prides itself on service that is on time, clean, safe, courteous, and efficient. But its number one priority always has been and always will be safety. Last year, the CTA saw its bus safety record improve by 9%, and that improvement is no accident. A CTA bus operator hones her defensive driving skills on a bus simulator.
That is a great tool. You seem like you're really out on the street. The different maneuvers they throw at you, you know, the change of the weather, the obstruction on the street, the customers at the service stop, are you close enough to the curb? That is a great training tool.
Kathy, make sure you check to the left to make sure that nothing's coming into your lane.
Simulators are used to teach new operators during their initial 26-day training course. They are also used to review skills of veteran operators involved in incidents, even if they are not at fault.
Based on accidents or incidents that might occur while operating a vehicle, we have what we call the Smith training. This is the defensive driving program just to keep them up to par with their skills.
So you want to take your bus out of gear.
They're explaining to them while they're actually driving, and once they finish the exercise, they go back and they review with them what they have done. If they have an accident, they go back and show them why they had the accident.
Okay, Kathy, in this scenario, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. You're going to have vehicles, you're going to have fire trucks, you're going to have police that you got to contend with.
Safety training is a career-long process. CTA operators are recertified every 2 years.
Throughout their career, they will have to attend this training every 2 years, and they do get a recertification card.
Safety zones at CTA garages are used to test driving skills of CTA operators. This exercise is called the serpentine. Operators must maneuver a 40-foot bus around rubber cones set just 10 feet apart.
The objective is to use what we call our pivot point, the rear wheel, to maneuver through the series of cones without knocking them down.
Without knocking the cones down and without applying the brakes.
That will be the final determination that they passed the course, that they're able to maneuver through it using their hand and eye coordination, but also not applying their brakes. If they do it one time, we will actually put them back on just to ensure that it wasn't a fluke, that it wasn't by chance.
The ride-along audit is another method used to ensure the safe operation of buses. Each of the CTA's 49 transportation managers conducts audits every month. They ride the length of a route to observe the operator's performance.
To see if they're curbing the bus, to see if stopping distance behind the vehicle that's ahead, see if they maintain the clearance on the right side or the left side of the bus, checking to see if they're looking in all their mirrors, because mirrors are very important.
It's not all about managers instructing operators. Operators teach managers too. Safety education is a two-way street.
We embrace all that feedback from our employees, and it helps us a lot. And that has been helping us to reduce our accidents because we are getting operators involved.
Here's something to keep in mind. More than 2/3 of accidents in 2009 were instances where CTA buses were struck by another vehicle. The most common mistake? Drivers trying to pass a bus while it's pulling away from a bus stop. Chicago's West Loop is a dynamic neighborhood undergoing tremendous growth. To serve the influx of people to this one-time industrial corridor, the Chicago Department of Transportation is building a new station along the Green and Pink Line tracks, right here at Morgan and Lake. Chicago's West Loop neighborhood has undergone an exciting transformation, from an industrial area to a dynamic mixed-use retail, residential, and warehouse community.
In recent years, thousands of residential units have been built in the West Loop, and they continue to be built. The neighborhood's changing radically.
Transportation to support the transformation is coming with a new elevated station at Morgan and Lake.
The addition of a station here at Morgan will provide more convenient service for a growing area of the city with improved access to the nearby West Loop area and introduce new customers to the ease of taking public transit.
Currently, Green and Pink Line trains make stops at Ashland and Clinton, which are more than a mile apart. Morgan Street is between those two stations.
The Morgan station will be put essentially right in the middle of that gap. It's what's known as an infill station. And really it's designed to draw the huge potential customer base that's in that rapidly developing area.
The announcement today is just one of many projects the CTA has had over the years that would not have been possible without the support of the mayor and other city agencies. Projects like this are successful when elected officials, community, and CTA work together.
Because the new station is being built in a tax increment financing district, a majority of the $38 million in costs will come from those funds.
Those TIF districts are really designed for projects like this. They take the local tax dollars and reinvest them in that very area. So people paying taxes in that area are drawing a direct benefit from the development in that area.
And the TIF money frees up CTA funds for other projects.
Through this collaborative effort, the city is enabling the CTA to use its capital funds to improve other areas in need of renovation.
The design of the new station house is inspired by the unique architecture of the neighborhood. Look for a bright station house with lots of translucent materials to increase natural lighting. Steel, concrete, and polycarbonate materials will capture the feel of the community's industrial roots.
There's a combination of new construction, warehouses, storage places, and new renovations. All these rehabs in the area kind of take that little modern twist to their designs, and that's what we're doing with the station.
There will be a full complement of state-of-the-art security cameras, LCD information displays, and more.
When a project is completed, CTA customers will have a station equipped with elevators, braille signs, tactile edging, and a wheelchair turnstile that will make it accessible to riders with disabilities.
The Morgan Station creates 250 new construction jobs. As with any major infrastructure project, there will be some inconveniences.
We're working very hard to make that disruption as minimal as possible. Right now, we foresee keeping Lake Street and Morgan Street open to traffic.
We have been working with the property owners during this project just to make sure that we minimize impact on businesses as well as traffic.
A little bit of pain for a big payoff, one that benefits the West Loop community and CTA customers.
Not only for the people who live here, the residents, but also for people who want to visit the neighborhood and try all these amenities that are here.
The Morgan Station will be complete in late 2012. It is the first new CTA station to be built in over 10 years. CTA trains make about 2,150 trips a day. That wouldn't be possible without train junctions, also called interlockings. Let's take a closer look at the critical functions of the rail junctions. A lone tower sits above a busy intersection of tracks. This is Tower 18 at the junction of Lake and Wells. The people in this tower control the complex flow of trains through Chicago's loop.
In the rush hours, we can see trains as often as every 30 to 45 seconds going through the junction here. And it's considered to be one of the busiest railroad junctions in the United States. So we take a lot of pride in that.
5 of the CTA's 8 lines converge here: pink, green, purple, orange, and brown. Tower operators determine which trains go on which tracks and when. Tower 18 was completely rebuilt as part of the Loop Signal project.
The steel, the track that the trains run on, was not new, but everything else, machines that throw the switches are new. The signals that allow the operator to proceed are brand new. They're using a new technology, an LED technology.
This is a control room next to Tower 18. It is the electronic nerve center of the junction.
We have over 100 equipment racks in this room, each with a lot of control devices that allow decisions to be made automatically as to whether a train can proceed through the junction or not.
A control panel, almost identical to one in the tower itself, supplements the panel inside the tower.
The red lines indicate that we actually have a train at this position, actually coming across the Lake Street Bridge toward the junction, down Lake Street. The white lines indicate that he has a route clear ahead of him. The route is locked so that no other train can try to proceed across or converge into him. And the train will now proceed through the junction. As the red lights progress, the train is actually moving through the junction.
Tower operators also rely on what they see from their windows and what cameras relay to their monitors. This is the Clark Tower. This junction is less busy than the interlockings overseen by Tower 18, but it's still busy.
I use the monitors to see what's coming. I look at the panel to see what's coming. Sometimes I look out the window to look at the marker lights, your colored lights on the train that let you know what destination the train has.
We have the red line, the purple line during the rush, and the brown line trains, north and southbound. Electronically, I'm switching the tracks. I'm moving trains from one track to the other.
Down track 1 in rail to Midway.
Tower operators work as train operators before training for tower duty.
He has to know where the train is going and which route to give him and this and that. So he has to know all the rules and everything that an operator will have to know.
And tower operators also have to climb multiple sets of stairs each day.
It's good exercise.
But there are no complaints here.
This is one of the best jobs at the company. I love my job. I do. I really love my job.
The dedication of tower operators combined with electronic and infrastructure upgrades at critical junctions ensures safe and reliable travel along the CTA rail system, a system that delivers more than 200 million rides a year. That's it for this episode of Connections. Thanks for watching. Don't forget you can catch individual connection stories on CTA's YouTube channel. And if you have a story or CTA travel tip to share that we can feature on the show, just call the Connections hotline at 312-681-2812. I'm Omar Barragan. I'll see you next time on Connections.